Before I take you through our Capstone project, I want to highlight an incredible learning experience at the Google Generative AI intensive course. This program was more than just an introduction to generative AI. It was a deep dive into the technologies which are shaping the future of intelligent systems. On these 5 focus days, we explored foundational large language models, advanced prompt engineering, embedding vector databases, and even AI agents capable of solving domain-specific problems. This is what that led us to our final project, JobSim.AI. Although a lot of preparation is taken into account, your mind might flutter right in the middle of the interview because you are posed with wide variations of questions that are unpredictable. This is where the Job AI steps in. It can read your resume, understand it, tailor questions based on the role you have chosen, then evaluates your answer to various stages, and then gives score basis on your answer and provides a feedback to how to enhance your resume and to also improve your overall preparation. The setting up of this project is very simple. All you need to do is grab your API key from the Google AI Studio and put that API key into the Kaggle secrets, which is nothing but a personal gateway to this jobs in AI. There are some limitations pertaining to a project. That includes uploading a resume and voice integration. As Kaggle is not interactive or not dynamic in nature, it doesn't support these functionalities, which are nothing but a part of a front end. But these functionalities are further implemented in a full potential project, which would be showcasing in the further video. The project starts with installation of various important libraries such as Google Generative AI and Matplotlib. The Google Generative AI connects to the Gemini models and the Matplotlib is used to plot the scores, skill growth, and resume evolution. This step is followed by installation of dependencies. All the critical libraries like OS, Google Generative AI, recent Matplotlib are used along with the Kaggle secrets are being imported. In the professional output generation, all the raw markdown stuff and artifacts are removed so that the code is being presented in a very enhancing and structured manner. Next comes the memory storage, where the project creates a JSON file that stores the content that is relating to a particular user. For an instance, recording each interview attempt that a user does, retrieving a specific attempt or complete history of that particular user, and also incrementing the counter every time as the user attempts the simulation every time. The next process is nothing but the resume analysis, where your resume is being sent to the Gemini 1.5 Flash model, and all the immediate suggestions along with the enhancement of resume is being provided. And also it provides some ATS where you need to keep focusing on those key points on your resume to enhance it and making your resume more clear and better than the first one. The next is the mock interview, where this function stimulates an interview experience by crafting 5 role specific and tailoring the questions to that particular role that is chosen by the user. The resume is fed to the Gemini and it is asked to give questions which are highly relevant to that particular chosen job role, which could be either behavior or technical in nature. Next is the job description wrap, where all the interview questions are turned out from the job description. It ensures that the provided job description is valid before sending to the Gemini AI and is tasked with generation of that both technical and behavioral question, which is tailored to a specific job role. Next comes the feedback giver, which ensures the detailedness of the answer or response that is provided by the user. It analyzes the answer, provides a constructive feedback so that it could be uh, thought in another perspective, and also codes the response that is given by the user, and thus a personalized feedback is given to the user at the end of the day. The progress chart keeps a track of all the visuals by plotting the scores on the board. It generates a performance chart and also visualizes how the candidate interview scores evolve over the time. The JobSim.AI deletes the user progress JSON file, indicating all the data of the user is wiped out. Next comes the main application, which guides the users through a structured journey, starting with the analysis of the resume, where the user's resume is being analyzed and the detailed feedback and improvement suggestions are provided. Then simulates the interview and generates the questions based on the resume and the job role, and feedback is given for every answer and tracks the progress of the user through multiple attempts, allowing them to visualize their growth over the time. As the Kaggle environment is not interactive, we have provided a default resume in this notebook, and some predefined answers are given to the generated questions, thus making it as an example of how this whole simulation works in general. As you could see the output, there is a welcoming message from the jobs in AI, followed by passing of his resume, which includes stages of analysis, validating, and sending the resume to the Gemini model and receiving a response from the Gemini. The next stage includes resume feedback, which has contained some functionalities like immediate suggestions, which tells about what are to be needed, what changes are to be made thoroughly, like if a particular section is lacking in something or is too short for that particular role. It also includes enhancing of your resume, thus making it more attractive and stand out of everything. It also replaces some words in your resume to create a strong impact on the hirer or the manager. Then a mock interview is starting for a particular role. In the use case, we have taken 5 questions as the case, and the user is being posed with these 5 questions. And as the user answers or responds to a particular question, the feedback is given for that particular question, which include other constraints, consideration like relevance, clarity, and depth to that particular answer. And the scores are made for that relevance, clarity, and depth, which is followed by the suggestions for the improvement of the user's response. And that progress is being saved in that particular item. This process is repeated for all these 5 questions thoroughly. JobSim.AI validates each and every answer and generates a feedback, thus helping the user to have a real-time experience. It also provides a job description question that can be asked in the interview, and thus enabling the user's preparation even more into another level. As you could see, the progress is saved for the John example resume. This is a sample resume that we have passed for this particular notebook. Next up, you can see your directive to the full potential project, which has an integration of both the voice and the uploading of the resume. As you could see, there is an interview type, which basically consists of skill, behavior, technical, and structure. What I mean is situational. Next, you can upload your resume by browsing through your file. For now, in this video, we are considering that particular email as shown in here the data management for tracking out that particular user. and the targeted job role is being entered along with the job description from the LinkedIn profiles or various other platforms. It also includes tips for better interviews. When the simulation is started for this particular person, we had already completed 26 interview simulation. This is the attempt one, attempt two, and suited C. Then your resume is being analyzed and the questions are being generated based on your job description that is provided by the user. The resume analysis consists of the strengths that particular user has and also has alignment and improvement areas where the user needs to focus on and enhancing of the resume section and the skills that the user has and the objective and the main important part that is ATS optimization that focuses on the key points during the hiring. When the interview is started, the user can select to answer a particular question in either the text format or the voice format. It also has some better tips that could help the user for the preparation during that
Your
particular
resume
interview.
highlights your
Categorized
Works
based
AI
on technical
Assistant
interviews
project,
or
which
behavioral
incorporated
interviews.
Llama
The
3
user
and
can click on
achieved
the
an
play button, which
85%
starts
voice
the
accuracy rate in
processing of
noisy
the question.
environments.
As you can see, for
The
this
job
particular
description
question, you
emphasizes
have
the
first to
importance of
answer the 5
optimizing generative
then
models for
tick box is
efficiency and
doubled immediately
speed.
when
Can you
chosen to
describe a
answer by
specific
the client.
challenge you faced
Answer
during
is
the
provided in
development of the
field
Works AI
which is
Assistant,
completely referring or
related to model
saying nothing but the
optimization
question
or
itself. And
efficiency,
as you
and
submit
how
it
you
to the
overcame
feedback
it? Detail the
that
techniques you used and the measurable impact of your solution on the project's performance.
the answer that is being provided in that particular text box is a detailed and processed one. Now let's check out what actually happens and how the feedback is provided on clicking the submit response. A strong 8 points out of 10 is given as a feedback, and also some suggestions are provided so that it could align better to that of that job description. Following up with the next question. Some suggestions are provided so that it could align better to that of that job description. Following up with the next question. For this particular question, we are going to answer a very vague answer. And as you can see, the number of questions that we have taken for this particular simulation is 2. And you can take up to 10 questions for a particular simulation. As you click the submit button, you are directed to the feedback, which gives a perfect analysis of how the question is being interpreted and answered by the particular user. As we have set a limit for 2 questions, you are directed to interview performance summary and score for that particular question and answer review. You can also download your full interview report in the form of CSV, which contains information about that user, how many times you moved, with what time you made, and everything for future relevance or retrieval of that particular information. As you click on the view on progress history, you are being directed towards this whole graph, which showcases the average and all the progress that a user made throughout the whole simulation process. Here, the user attempted for about 26 or 29 times, and the summary of that particular attempt is given for that particular section of an attempt. On clicking the main menu option, you are being directed to the start of the interface where you can start the same simulation process a number of times. And you also have a functionality of deleting the data for that particular user in that data management section where you can flush out all the attempts and history of that particular user. With JobSim.AI, the goal is very simple, making the job preparation smarter, more human, and mostly scalable. This isn't about just one interview. It's about evolving how we grow in our careers. A huge thank you to the Google and the amazing team behind the GenAI intensive course. This program didn't just teach us about AI, it sparked ideas and the potential and brought together creators worldwide. To our mentors, peers, and everyone who cheered